This is Canada, a country that is mocked by countless media personalities and is no longer a well-reputed country in 2024. It's been a few years now since Canada was the moderate, sensible, dependable, and globally respected nation that it grew into during the 20th century. What they have become instead is a country with the world's most radical collection of social policies that is mocked mercilessly by international media for its foolish extremism, is taunted for its unwillingness to defend itself, and no longer has any influence to speak of on the international stage. While they once had a voice that was respected, they now have one that solicits grins of amusement. First, there's euthanasia, or as they call it in Canada, medical assistance in dying. Initially justified as a way to allow people suffering from terminal illness to die without having to experience intolerable pain, it is now used to shut down Roman Catholic hospices that refuse to terminate lives on site, and there are plans to expand the law to include the mentally ill and those. These days, it is pointed to with alarm by disability groups and has been condemned internationally. Also, inflation and high food prices have nudged many families toward the precipice of poverty. Compounding these woes is a stark deficiency in competition. Canada's markets, characterized by high concentration, where few firms dominate entire sectors, need more robust antitrust enforcement or other mechanisms to encourage competition. These mechanisms are conspicuously weak or absent, which has allowed a handful of families to amass wealth while the majority sees scant benefit. The wealth gap between the rich and poor in Canada widened at the fastest rate on record in 2023. This imbalance has stifled innovation and hindered economic dynamism. Short-term orientation and few incentives for long-term investments add to unnecessarily heated markets, like real estate, in a country that has a wealth of land. There's no need to even start with how the government's fence-sitting regarding the war in Gaza has coincided with a shocking rise in anti-Semitism and rendered Canada completely ineffective diplomatically, or that the Prime Minister has declared his nation both genocidal and systemically racist, and, in doing so, eliminated the moral authority it once possessed. It is worth pointing out, however, that the government's extremist effort to restrict freedom of speech via the Online Harms Act has further raised foreign eyebrows. Then, there's the issue of what appears to be the Trudeau government's almost complete disinterest in defending Canada's sovereignty, let alone meeting their NATO commitment to spend 2% of gross domestic product on our military. They are, at the moment, about $18 billion shy of that number, and are so disinterested in making up that gap that the Royal Canadian Air Force announced it is retiring its training jets and will send its aspiring pilots to Texas, Finland, and Italy to earn their wings. This comes less than a month after Julianne Smith, the American representative to NATO, made it clear Canada's allies have run out of patience. When it comes to gay rights and gender issues, Canada has been a leader, particularly in recent years, where Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has not only championed those causes in all their forms domestically, but internationally. Mr. Trudeau has brought LGBTQ and gender issues to the table in discussions involving trade partners with Southeast Asian nations, and famously chided Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni at the G7 summit in Hiroshima last year. He has been less vocal when it comes to Ukraine, where gay marriage is not legal, or Gaza, where homosexuality is so vigorously forbidden that its rulers, Hamas, executed one of their own leaders, Mahmoud Ishtiwi, for having sex with another man. Again, you may agree or disagree with the Prime Minister's primal progressivism, but no other national leader has been more iconoclastic. The policy also has some setbacks. Canadian policy, with its pronounced focus on consumption and social spending, has neglected critical investments in infrastructure, digitalization, research and development, and education. The result is a dismal performance in productivity, intellectual property generation, and overall investment compared to its peers. The Canadian economy is still slowing as the lagged impact of earlier interest rate increase. Gross domestic product edged higher in 2023, but once again, not fast enough to keep up with surging population growth. After inflation, Canadian business investment fell by almost 7% over the second half of 2023, adding to decades of underinvestment dating back to the 2008 financial crisis and 2015 oil price collapse. Slow business investment can have a lasting downward impact on growth by lowering future productivity growth, which has historically been the key driver of improvements in after-inflation wages and living standards over time. Canadians are awakening to the fact that they are no longer living in the sensible, respected, and prosperous middle power they thought they were. They are now in a nation where responsible, moderate opinions are casually labeled by politicians and supplicant observers as far-right. Not only does Canada lag behind most developed economies, Canadian provinces also fall far behind almost all American states. It's unclear whether they have the courage to fix it. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to share your views, feel free to comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for similar upcoming videos.